Good morning to all YouTubers. How you guys doing? This is good old Grandmaster Evan here, and you're watching the Anonymous Liberty Media, brought to you by the Worldwide Resistance Network, also known as TWRN. Now, I wasn't going to go and do the video this morning, so I want to do it now. There are reasons why politicians know nothing of video games. Absolutely nothing about it. They think they know because they've seen the research. They've read this and that. They know nothing, absolutely nothing about video games. There's been a 40-year study stating, and out of 40 years, 30 years of it has been proved. Has been proved that video games has nothing to do with gun violence at all. Now, in the early 90s, when the popularity of Mortal Kombat came out, it was a game that that we played all the time. It could be any character from Sub-Zero to Raiden to Scorpion to Goro to whoever in the game. And there was some controversy where if you're Sub-Zero, you pulled your enemy's head along with the spine from its body. There's a head along with the spine. And that there will cause controversy in the early 90s. And Hillary Clinton was on the bandwagon of banning these games, which she couldn't. They couldn't ban them because it was under the First Amendment. Anything from video games to books to movies to art to literature and everything else is under the First Amendment. It's freedom of speech. Also part of expression, freedom of expression through art. Just like they did back in the 50s with comic books. You had to ban comic books because it was a communist tool to brainwash your kids. And Joseph McCarthy used this shit to claim that comic books is brainwashing our kids, which was not. Because kids be up at night with flashlights underneath the covers, reading their favorite comic book, the flashlight, back in the day. And this is just like that. Video games is like a virtual, it's like a 3D or a 16-bit comic book. And politicians want to ban violent video games. And they want to add this assumption that video games are the reason that mass school shootings are happening. I mean, you got to think of games like Contra. Okay, Contra was a shooting game back in the late 80s. We played it on the Sega system and even the first Nintendo system, the first NES system. I mean, you had Mortal Kombat, you had Street Fighter, you had all these different games. You had in the late 90s, you had Grand Theft Auto. 20 years of Grand Theft Auto. One guy kept trying to this franchise banned because it's violent and kids are going to shoot each other. That has not been proven at all. From some dumbass parents, some crackpot lawyer, and some retarded politicians claiming, "What about the kids? The kids, the kids?" Like Carlin once said, "Fuck the kids." Because your children is being used for these adults' propaganda piece to attack video games, claiming as we make our kids into serial killers. Really? Really? Mortal Kombat's gonna make your kid into a serial killer. Really? You're stupid. Resident Evil's gonna turn my kid into a mass murderer. Open your ears, open your eyes and ears, and shut your fucking pie hole. 30 years, 3 decades of study has proved time and time again, video games do not cause somebody to cause a shooting. There is no connection at all. There's been studies for the last 30 years or more that proves violent video games, especially games like Battlefront, Grand Theft Auto, Call of Duty, Mortal Kombat, does not cause anybody to lose their mind. Okay? Matter of fact, lose their mind, matter of fact. And do something stupid like shooting, like a mass school shooting. Period. Later today, Donald Trump's going to meet with the video game executives. And I hope that these executives would put Trump in his place in reality of 30 years of studying would prove that Trump's full of shit. These old fuckers assume, they claim that video games are going to turn your kids into mass school shooters. That's been debunked for the last 30 years. Been debunked for 30 fucking years. And while we're at this, I have a little message for Mr. David Hogg and his so-called March for Life movement here. Okay, you turd that won't flush. Your movement is merely a mouthpiece of propaganda for your fake movement. Okay, your little gun grabbing, gun control BS movement is going to die pretty soon. Okay, just a movement, just propaganda. You say a few weeks ago, about 3 weeks ago, claiming that your movement is going to outlast the NRA. I'm going to be completely honest with you, Bub. You're 18 years old. You're just a fucking kid. Okay? You're just a fucking kid who thinks a movement going to outlast the NRA. Have you realized the NRA has been around for over a century and a half? You stupid bastard. The NRA is going to be around a lot longer than your fucking piece of shit movement. Period. No bullshit. See, when people will get upset because you're being called a actor, which basically, honestly, you are an actor. You're a liberal mouthpiece for the establishment who wants to take away guns from legal gun owners, and you're a fucking tool that they're using to push this narrative, this so-called mini agenda that you got. See, you and your four fellow turds that won't flush were picked out of your drama class. Okay? Drama class. And in fact, you are an actor. Okay? You're an actor. You can laugh it off all you want, but it's a fact. You're a fucking piece of shit actor. And your fellow students that go along with you, they're just as stupid as you are. Because their little movement you got going is not going to last very long. It's going to be a phase. It's going to be a phase that will last for a short while. Then, after a while, it's going to be forgotten. But the message I have for you is a question. Are you enjoying your 15 minutes of fame? Are you enjoying your little fun, not going back to class and actually getting some work done? You think that you're going to be not going back to class for the next few months until you realize you're a failed piece of shit, just like your four other shitheads? Especially that bald one who's trying out for the movie, the story of Sinead O'Connor. You have no idea what the fuck you're doing or you're talking about. You're just a fucking kid who thinks he knows everything. But honestly, you fucking don't. You assume you know much. In reality, you very know little. And in this so-called rally world you claim to be, now, you want the adults to do what you tell them to do. You want them to bow down and kiss your ass. And you claim, we're not going back to class until things change. Let me slap you in the face with a little bit of reality, pal. Okay? Again, you're just a fucking kid. Okay? 18 years old, was a piece of shit. You have politicians who have more mature than you, who have experience than you. Okay? You're throwing out these conspiracy theories in your little mind here. You know, I mean, you think you got the world by the ball, but let me tell you something. You've been around for what, 18 years? 18 years, and your ability to speak does not make you intelligent. You go on these networks and you try to give up your little so-called pro-adult speech. You have no idea. You're on the Bill Maher program. You and your little buddy acting all tough because you ain't gonna help you. It ain't gonna do shit for you. Just because the governor's going to, I mean, you think the governor's going to sign, right? Is he going to sign it? The odds are really not in your favor. Okay, not in your favor. It may be on one of them, but for the governor to sign any of them, maybe even one of them, it's surely not in your favor. See, politicians do not give a good goddamn about you. Okay, you think you got the politicians by the balls. Okay, think again. They have years of experience. You don't. You're wiser. You're not. You're merely a tool for the left, for the liberal Democrats. You're a fucking mouthpiece for the gun-grabbing Democrats who's using you like a fucking prostitute. These Democrats got you bent over, and they got you lubed up pretty good. And when they get done with you, your back's going to feel really sticky by now. Because Democrats don't give a good goddamn about you. No, they don't. You and your get-along gang from drama class, you're just a fucking tool. You're a political piece of ass for Democrats and liberal agenda. That's all you are, is a political piece of ass to them. You're their propaganda mouthpiece, that's all you are. No more, no less. Because I tell you what, got balls. But here's the thing. They're still going to use you. You are their political whore. They got you lubed up pretty good. But like I said, when they get done with you politically, your back's going to feel a little sticky. Politicians don't give a good goddamn about you kids. You're a fucking mouthpiece for them. Because they got you right where they want you. Every time you go to a network, they got you right where they want you. It's a fact. They got you right where they want you. Because they're on their offices or at home, stroking themselves while they're watching you fuckers on TV. Give them something to inspiration for them to stroke themselves and shit. You're just a fucking mouthpiece, kid. For them. Your agenda is their agenda. Your movement is their movement. Think about it. And they're still going to keep you looped up and get ready for more, because they're politically fucking you in the ass, my friend. Politically. Because, like I said, your movement is their movement. Your agenda is their agenda. They own you now. They own you now. And right now, your back's about to get politically sticky. They got you right where they want you. These Democrats got you right where they want you. You and your little friends from drama class. You think they care about you? That they're going to do right by you? Fuck no. Fuck no. Do you know who really owns them? Like they own you? The Rothschilds, Rockefellers, the Morgans. They all own you now. They can use you any way they want politically. Just like, you make a good point. Does Donald Trump play video games? No, never has. That there, I'll give you credit for that one. Good one. The fact is, politicians don't know a goddamn thing about video games. They assume they do because they want to put violent video games and gun violence together. But 30 years of studying have debunked that. Since they can't use this debunk information, they're going to you little bastard. You and your 5 friends from drama class. They're going to use you, and they're going to use you good politically. They're going to use you to get political points and more votes for the re-election. Thanks to you and your 4 members of your little get along gang and shit. They got you right where they want you. Your dad is a former FBI guy, a former G-man. And they got your dad by the balls. Tough guy. They got your dad by the fucking balls, my friend. And these politicians, these liberal ones, they are going to use you until the day they're going to use you for their agenda. They're going to use you and your little friend for a little mouthpiece until you graduate. They want you to continue your little fake movement. Here's a hint. The NRA is going to last for a very long time. And the little movement is going to be short-lived. They got you right where they want you. Again, every time you appear on a network, they got you right where they want you. And it ain't bullshit. It's fucking reality, kid. Fucking reality. They got you by the fucking balls, just like your dad. They got you. As long as you speak out about gun control shit, they're gonna love it. Because every time you talk about it, they're in their office, stroking their baloney, stroking their salami. Well, stroking themselves to happiness until they get done using you for their little mouthpiece. That's it. They're gonna toss you aside politically because you are doing their job for them by speaking the way you're doing. They own you now, Mr. Hogg. They own you now. Remember that. because these liberal politicians, they serve their true masters, and they own them as they now own you, because you're doing exactly what they want you to do. And these masters are in this club. They're in this big club, and you ain't in it. You are not in this big club. This club is full of highly powerful politicians that you speak out against. And trust me, they're not listening to you. They own you. You've given them a reason for re-election. You little weasel. It's politicians who are paid off. They're owned. They're owned. They're owned. And you, Mr. Hogg, since you and your little four friends from your drummer class, they own them too. They own you five. And they will use you politically any way they want. They can lube you up and have their way with you politically. By the end of your run, your backs will get really sticky. And you're not going to like it politically and morally. Politics is a very dirty game. It's a very terrible, dirty, dark game. And by you speaking out against assault weapons, the left wants you to talk about assault weapons, the banning, because re-election, more money in their pocket from lobbyists. It's all about the money. You're right about one thing, it's about the money. Follow the money. You're right about one thing, follow the money. Politics is a very dirty game, and they will use people for their mouthpiece without them realizing. When somebody speaks out against guns, they're being used without realizing it. They're a little pawn piece without realizing it. Like you're a little pawn piece without realizing it. They can move you and control you without even laying a finger. I respect you because you're speaking out against something that happened at your school. And it's sad that it happened. I'm a parent myself. I feel those parents. I would not want that happen to my son. I would feel upset and angry because this moron, this sick son of a bitch that killed 17 people at your school. 17 people died. They ain't coming back. It's sad. 15 students and 2 teachers are gone. You cannot blame anybody. You cannot blame the NRA. You cannot blame the president. You cannot blame Loesch. You cannot blame the NRA. The one person that you should blame is the sick son of a bitch who pulled the trigger. You can't blame the NRA. You cannot blame any politician because they had nothing to do with it. They didn't cause it. They didn't tell the kid to pull the trigger. He did it on his own. Think about that for a moment there. Quit blaming everybody else. Blame the guy that fired that weapon. You can't blame the gun. The gun's a tool. That sick bastard used that tool to kill 17 people. You already know that by now. And they ain't coming back. You want to blame the guns? I say, fuck you. The gun is a fucking tool. It's like a wrench. You use it. It's a tool. That sick bastard killed 17 people at your school. And you want to blame the gun? You want to blame the NRA? How about this? How about blaming the sheriff who failed to protect you and your classmates, you sick bastard? He didn't do a goddamn thing. He's the one that did the stand down order. That sheriff was there for show, for him. He's a sick, weak piece of shit. He was given gun training to people at a mosque. You didn't know that? 4 police officers from another department went in and did their job. Or 4 deputies hid behind their cars. And you want to blame the NLOs? You want to blame the NRA for not doing their job? Hey, here's the thing. The NRA has been around longer. And they will be around longer than your fucking movement. Your movement is a political stunt. Publicity stunt. That's all it is. And they're using you for your movement. They want to use you. And they are using you without you realizing it. You need to think real hard, pal. But I want to get back to this, why politicians know nothing about video games. And it's true. Politicians know nothing about video games. They think they do, but they fucking don't. And what is sad is that for 30 years, there's been studies over and over and over and over again. And it seems that it has decreased. You want to blame somebody? How about blaming the people that created the gun-free zone? Because here's a fact. People have died at gun-free zones, like your school. Right? People at non-gun-free zones survived and lived. Okay? Here's another one. Guns and medication. 750,000 plus have died from prescribed medication compared to over 10,000 plus with guns. There's been more deaths due to overdose than gun violence. Almost 800,000 people have died due to overdose. You didn't know that? I will give a credit on the president not knowing a goddamn thing about video games. I will give you that credit there. I could agree with you there. Big time. But I will not give you credit for your fake movement, that your short-living movement. Because you're just, like I said, you're a political mouthpiece. You're a political propaganda mouthpiece. That's all you are. Politicians don't give a good goddamn about you. Any liberal politician does not give a good goddamn about you at all. You and your 4 members of your little get-along gang are being used. being played. You're a little pawn in someone's game of chess. They're moving the pieces very slowly, very calculating move. And each time you guys go on a network and talk or shit, that's the piece they're moving. And each time you go to little networks like news and whatnot, they're in their office just stroking themselves in enjoyment. That's all it is. The elite is enjoying your little talk and getting off on it. Awfully a lot. Think about it. And again, they own you now. They own you now. Alright, YouTubers. If you're new to this channel, please leave a like, subscribe, comment below. And don't forget the bell for notification. This is good old Grandmaster Revan signing off. And you just watch the Anonymous Liberty Media. Brought to you by the Worldwide Resistance Network, also known as TWWRN. Remember, knowledge is free. If you don't like it, go fuck yourself. Peace out. Revan out.